Hello, good morning. Today it is Thursday, August 19th, 2021. I am Lindsay Duff, and this is Responsible Day Trading. There's been a lot going on. This market has been moving, and I've done some trading with it. So I traded Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I did not record, but we're going to go through the trades here in just a moment. All in all, it's been a pretty good week for me. There's some things that we talked about on Monday that are definitely happening. So we want to kind of go over those two as well. So I don't want to dilly-dally too long on these trades, but let's go through them. Okay, so you'll see my 10,946 over here, the 1597, and the 233. We're mostly going to go through the 233. We'll pull the 1597 along with us. The 10,946 is pretty good where it's at. Okay, so first trade of the day on Monday. Okay, and also let me explain. I have increased the size of my risk, but I've also have increased the size of my target. It's a little bit hard to deal with sometimes because it's breathtaking to see you get hit at a full 2.5 points for 4 contracts. I start in with the 2. I will increase it as much as 2.5 points, no more than that. And I usually try and take it down to 1.25 points as quickly as possible. So let's talk a little bit more about this. My first trade of the day, short, very, very late. I think I was just really looking at this and like, oh, it's going without me. And I ended up taking an 8-point loss to start off the day. The next trade that I took was back here. So I took the short. I was not late on it, just thinking of where my risk is. It was right at the top here, and then I gave myself a 2-tick grace and just kind of kept it right above here. As soon as it pulled down to where it gave me this reversal bar, I pulled my risk down here. So when it came down and started to pop back, I definitely held it a little too long, but I ended up taking 7.5 points off of that one. I think I'm going to actually turn off the global crosshairs on here and just see if these will still move. We'll still come back and talk about these when we need to. I took another short here and I said, girl, you're just holding too long. Saw the divergence happening here. The MACD starting to roll to the upside after divergence here. The very, very weak movement of the MACDs at this point. So it was saying, look, we're starting to push up. It's time to get out of this. So I just took a 1-tick profit off 4 contracts, which led to a point. So let's move to the next one. I stopped for quite a while during the day and came back to it at the end of the day. And you can see I took a long here, had great risk, was right behind here. Pulled up, started to pull back, and I had moved my risk up. This one I actually pulled in the target and dropped it in there and took 6 points. And then this next one, it started to pull back. I said, forget it, I'm out of here. I took another 6 points on that one. It did go up higher. I wasn't willing to wait for it to pull back almost to break even to let me in, especially all the white BBs that were happening at this point. Now, if I'm looking at my bigger tick chart, I did still have some oomph to the upside, but the BBs were starting to turn white. So it was time for me to get out, especially with the MACDs pushing really hard down here. So I took 4 trades. I had 1 loss. I had 3 wins, 12.5 points. I feel like I could have done a little bit better on that, but you know, it is what it is. So let's move to the next day. Once again, day before yesterday, I started off with 2 hard losses. Okay, so I started my day off minus 17 points. Now, remember, I am trading 4 contracts, so it will make that loss a little bit more significant. The first trade, I tried a short, and I remember talking to myself saying, Lindsay, we're back above the 0 line here. We had a very weak movement down. I think it was just more than anything, lost concentration, took a short, lost 7 points on this one. And then I said, revenge trading, let's do it. And trying to take another short, took the full loss on this one, which was 10 points. What happens here is it's given a nice little pull down. We're finally starting to see reasons for this to actually go. It's rolling here at this point. The MACDs were very, very weak, pulling up at this point right here. And we had a nice area of the EMA for this to bounce off of. Now my risk was right above this area, and then once it pulled down, came back here, I pulled it down just like another tick or so, and as it was moving down here, I'm moving my risk along. So the first exit, 2 contracts at the 5-point exit, which is 10 points. My second exit, I moved down to 8 points. Now, after my first target, I actually do have my second target set to 6 points and my next target set to 7 points. But I will pull those off a little bit more to see what we can get out of there. So I took 8 points on the next one and 6 points on the next one. I had moved my risk in a little bit tighter, and I think I had to get up and walk away for just a moment. So I believe I hit close on this one because I knew I had to step away. But we do have a couple of more trades that happen here. So let's go and look at them. I took a long here, and I remember seeing that we had the divergence happening right in here, and we had a little bit of divergence happening right in here, and I thought it's kind of a risky long, but as soon as it got up to this point, I moved my risk up to a 1 tick profit, which got hit. So I got a point off of that. And then I said, oh man, this, I just took that 1 point. This must be going down. We're still sitting here ignoring the fact that the MACDs are absolutely starting to take off to the upside here. And you can see that the same thing is starting to happen here. The MACDs are starting to roll to the upside. It had such a weak move down. It doesn't say it's not going to go down. It just says not right now. So I did exit this one a little earlier than usual. I just took 6 points off of that one. So here's the next trade. I took a short. Now my risk was right above this bar right here. And as soon as I could, I moved it down actually right into here and then right back into here too. So first target, I could have let it run till 10. I just wasn't comfortable with the way the MACDs were starting to bounce up here and the closes were starting to try and make their way to the upside. We had gotten very weakly below the 0 line rolling here, and it was looking like we were going to stop at the Bollinger Band and push back to the upside. So for the first target, I took 7.5 points. For the next target, I took 7 points. Now remember, this is 2 contracts, and this is also 2 contracts. So you may see me with 3 exits, sometimes with 2, sometimes with 1, very rarely 4 exits, okay? So 6 trades, 3 losses, 3 wins, a 50-50 win-loss ratio, still 16.5 points. Let's move to yesterday. So yesterday started my first trade. It was great. I could see the movement happening right in here. We had this push up happening here with some strength, and it gave me this little pullback with the MACDs leading way, way, way above the 0 line, which said it's go time. It was a little rough up in this area, and honestly, I was expecting us to see shorts before too long. But I took all 4 contracts out at once at 7 points. Now, we had a little bit of a flub up here, and let me tell you what happened. I took the first trade, and I was like, man, this is a little risky. I had moved my risk down to break even. As it was pulling back, it wasn't at break even, it was at +1. But as it's pulled back, I hit the close button, which this has happened to me before. It switched it, and it put me back in as a long very quickly right after. So I had the short where I took the break even, and as I hit close, and you can see it doesn't even have my strategy here, it just boom put me back in as a long, and I was like, oh my god, what's going on? And I hit close really, really quick, which actually ended up with another break even right here. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with getting a break even at that point. I think a little bit of frustration came in after that because I was like, oh, well, this must be going short. And I took the short. I let it pull all the way back up to here where I took a 9-point loss. So then it pulled back and I said, Lindsay, take your breath. It's time to go. So we took another short at that point, right in here, way, way below, very, very weak to the downside. MACDs on our 10946 were starting to roll down just a little bit more right in here. They were rolling over from the top, had a very, very weak pullback in the BBs. You can see that little blue one that doesn't cross the top Bollinger Band right here, which says more down. So I did take the next short, didn't take the exit when it was showing it to me because it was definitely showing it back in here. And so I waited a little long. First target I took out at 4 points. Second target I took out at 3 points. You can see right in here, first target, boom, is right there. Second target is right here. So 4 and 3. Now, knowing FOMC was on the way, I kind of took a little bit of time off and came back. I love trading things like FOMC. Now, the thing is I grab them by hitting the buy and sell button a lot these days. I used to set it there and drag and drop, but the buy and sell button has been my way of doing it, which may be why I'm getting a little bit late on some trades. But you can see here, I took the first entrance. My target, my risk was right above this spot. So it was very, very close to taking me, and I was going to get back in if it did. So there was the 10 point right here, 5.5 right here, and 4 point right there, because I saw it starting to pull back a little bit. I was like, you know what? Let's not let it pull all the way back. Let's go ahead and take our exit, especially when the BBs really started to roll up here and we could see them not continuing to roll down and started to pop to the upside. So I actually was in a meeting during this, but this is one I'm talking about where when you press that sell button, it really gave me some slippage because that bar just pushed down so hard. So I was very, very cautious about this exit at this point. And I actually took all 4 out at for 4 points, plus the fact that I was in a meeting. This next one right here, I was like, man, definitely had given us a little bit more opportunity right up in here. And we could see it just pulling back and those long bars pulling back right in here. And it was giving just a little bit of reversal bar potential. The BBs were just starting to roll over. And I'm like, man, I am not going to miss this one. So I took an exit when it pulled back just a little bit at 7 points. My next one at 5.75. And I had moved my wrist down just right into here and it hit it at 4.75. Did I believe it could go down lower? Yes, absolutely. I had my target actually set a little bit further down here at this point. But I had 8 trades, 5 wins, 1 loss, 2 break evens, 45 points. So not going to complain about that. It did keep rolling, but I did not go with it. So we had a 3-day total of 5 losses, 11 wins, 2 break evens, plus 75 points. Now, do I think I'm going to trade today? Oh, I don't know. Oh, here's one other thing that I did want to talk about. I want to talk about where the market currently is. So let me pull over that daily chart. I know we have spoken about looking for this to pull back to that area. And guess what happened? Now we can see all these times that it pulled back right into these EMAs. And that's where we're at right now. It is pulled back into the EMA. Now we have a lot of strength in this MACD to the downside, and we have a lot of divergence going on. So we may see this pull all the way back here now. This may be go time to the downside. But you can see we had a lot of strength in these MACDs before. It did a big drop. Once it got to those EMAs, it like stopped on a dime and turned back around. So that is a really interesting thing to look at, guys. So let's look at the 28,657 really quick. Boom, just right to that area. Now, this does really still have the look of more to the downside. Kind of want to look at last time. Last time we did this, it actually gave us white BBs. We're just barely getting any white BBs now. EMAs are really starting to open up to the downside. Kind of want to look at the last time. This one, not so much strength, not like what we have now. I'm gonna pay attention to it. So I guess that's it, guys. I'm gonna wrap that up. I may make another video today if I decide to trade today. So I have a meeting right now, so I gotta go. But hope everybody has a great day. You know, if you got questions over anything, definitely let me know. I'm rooting for you. I'm here for you. And as always, you know that I look forward to catching you on the profitable side.